Yo, what's up, guys? Happy Saturday evening. We are going to be going through, we hit a bunch earlier, but we're going to be going through some PrizePicks plays. Looks like we're going to cash this first one. This was from the last live stream. Looks like we have a good start on this from the live stream yesterday. But anyways, without further ado, let's kind of get into some bets. I explained this in every video, but, for anyone new, depending on where, you are in the world, you may, there's a lot of value on Hot Streak right now. But what I was going to say is, depending on where you're located, you may have different sports books than I have. So actually, the first bet we can go ahead and lock in can be on Hot Streak. I mean, whatever. So Hot Streak is a little bit of a weird platform. And the reason it's weird is they put their odds in decimal format. And you can see they actually just bumped this down. They had it 1.86. So I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about very briefly. And then we'll go over to PrizePicks here in a second. But anyways, let's take a look at the odds converter calculator. So you'll notice on Hot Streak, right, they have Julio Rodriguez 1.83, right? That's his odds on the under. So it's a little confusing if, like, you're American, like everyone using Hot Streak. But basically what that means is minus 120 odds. There's different odds formats. But anyways, not that important. Not that important to begin with. We can see if there's some other plays we like on Hot Streak to pair with this. So we have Julio Rodriguez. They bumped this, and they already bumped it down to 1.74. So regardless, Hot Streak moves their lines pretty quickly. But where should we start out? I mean, PrizePicks, we have a ton of bets. Bijan Robinson, no touchdown. We got like $1,000 on that. We got Devontae Adams, no touchdown. We got a bunch of plays. A lot of these plays, a lot of people always, this is degenerate betting. It's not degenerate betting when you know what you're doing and you know how to get an edge over the books. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. And there's some really good plays out there. So without further ado, let's kind of get into it. So where do we want to start? Maybe we start on PrizePicks because why not? So we can pull up the fantasy optimizer on PrizePicks. And I explained this in other videos, but as a sports bettor, you're really looking for those spots, you're looking for a needle in a haystack. And what I mean by that is all these books have, tens of thousands of lines. The sports books have an advantage that they add the VIG or the spread into their market. So like Underdog Fantasy, I mean, there is limitless crap you can bet on, right? We're literally looking for those 3-4 plays where we can actually get an edge. So like here's some plays I locked in earlier. Underdog Fantasy gives me a max bet size of $100. So I'm hitting all this crap for $100. But without further ado, let's kind of start to look for some picks. So what I can do as well is just kind of filter for PrizePicks, Underdog Fantasy. What are the main books? Ooh, wow, there are some good bets on PrizePicks. So there are some nice bets on PrizePicks that we can start out with. Cortland Sutton under 49.5 receiving yards. This play seems pretty solid. You can see most books have this around like minus 140-ish. And again, like PrizePicks strategy is pretty simple. I broke it down in other videos. I have other tutorials about it, but PrizePicks is a platform, right, where they're not changing your payout based on you selecting over versus under, right? It's a fixed payout sportsbook, which is different than, most sportsbooks. Most sportsbooks, they have odds and stuff like that. But basically on PrizePicks, because they're not changing your payout based on you selecting over versus under, the strategy for beating them is look for spots where sportsbooks have one side of the market heavily favored. So for example, for Tyler Boyd, right? So like, let's say we like, this pick on Hankins, and then we go over to the NFL, right? And we want to take Boyd. We can take him over 3.5 receptions or under, and we're getting the same 3x payout. So the sharp pick is taking his under because all the sports books have the under really heavily favored. And that's how you beat PrizePicks. Literally, when I start betting on any platform, I go through the math behind their payouts. So on PrizePicks, like literally, this is just the math behind, a PrizePicks 5-pick flex play. You have to win 54.25% of your bets to be profitable. So in other words, if you can get these over-unders correctly, above 54.25% of the time. So if you can win your picks like Boyd, over under 3.5 receptions 56% of the time, losing 44%, your ROI is going to be positive 11.9%, right? So it all boils down to your win rate because they have fixed payouts. Let me take a sip on my drink. But that'll be the first pick we go with, right? All the books have Boyd's line at 3.5, but all the sports books are saying, yo, this guy's a lot more likely to go under as opposed to over. So this is a pick winning above 54.25% of the time. All the books have the under heavily favored. So that's beautiful. Then we got Sam Laporta under 3.5 receptions. So we can keep it rolling. And again, we're about to have we are going to have a ton of money bet on PrizePicks by the time it's this weekend. So, whoa, rush TDs, Christian McCaffrey. What other TD markets do they have? So we can look at some of these TD markets as well. So some of these plays I've already locked in, but I really like some of them. So I like this play on Tyreek Hill. I've explained before in other videos, but I'm very excited for tomorrow because I will win $20K. This was probably my biggest bet of the week, and it's looking beautiful. A lot of value on the unders in general. A.J. Brown had him no touchdown. Obviously, it was sweaty, but it's all boiling down to Tyreek Hill. And again, why is this pick so good is what we can do is we can look at player touchdowns on the OddsJam sportsbook screen. And again, I'll include a link in the description if you want a free trial of OddsJam, 2-week free trial. You can give it a try. But let's take a look at our boy Tyreek Hill. Fliff has him, all the sports books have him as a heavy underdog to score a touchdown, right? Minus 200 on Fliff. Minus 200, a lot of people don't understand the math. Minus 200 means a 2-to-1 betting favorite. So if you go here to a little calculator, right, you can actually see, what do odds mean? Odds, right, minus 200 means a 2-to-1 betting favorite, right, which means 2/3 to win, 66.67%. If a team is minus 300, so an even bigger favorite, they're a 3-to-1 favorite. They're 3/4 to win, 75%. So long story short, the sportsbooks have Tyreek Hill. Fliff has him minus 200, 66% to go under. And again, you just have to win your prop bets 54.25% of the time to be profitable on PrizePicks. So I'm going to bet more on Tyreek Hill. Under, under, under. We're going to have a lot of unders for tomorrow. What's up, guys? Hope everyone's doing well. Happy Saturday. Yeah, we can look at some jock market plays. Damn. Anyways, let's get into it. Yeah, we can look at some jock market plays. But what we can do is, so on PrizePicks, we want to go with 5-pick flex plays. I've explained this before too, but a lot of people will be like, oh, you place a lot of 3-pick entries on Underdog. Why don't you do it on PrizePicks? PrizePicks only gives you a 5x payout for these 3-pick entries, as you can see right here. Underdog is 6x, right? 100 to win 600. 6x payout. So those things really make a difference long term. Just how many picks, you're going with in the first place. And again, the market's always moving, so I try to refresh, stuff like that, stay up to date on where are the lines. So this plays on Jock Market as well. Isaiah Hodgins under 31.5 receiving yards. If you want to check out the data, so we can go to the little sportsbook screen, we can go to receiving yards, just type in the market you want to look at, and then we can look at Hodgins. Man, we're going to have a crazy day tomorrow. It's going to be great. You can see some sports books have his line lower. They have his line juiced under. So anyways, it seems decent, but what we can do is hopefully PrizePicks doesn't move any of these lines on us as we find 2 more good picks to go with. So what I can do is I can just go here and pull up the Fantasy Optimizer. So this Fantasy Optimizer, it only works, so it doesn't work for I call them traditional sports books. So FanDuel is a traditional sports book. And what I mean by that is on FanDuel, there's odds, right? You can bet on Kyle Nelson plus 205, right? They have odds. betting 100 to win 205. On PrizePicks, there's no odds. It's just this fixed payout platform. So they work a bit differently, and, whatever, there's a bit of a learning curve. But still, there's a lot of good bets, which is exactly what we're going to be looking for. So this fantasy optimizer just kind of scans the market, points out line discrepancies, stuff like that. And you can kind of go down the list, or you can try to fall in love with specific picks. So what I mean by fall in love with specific picks is we already know Tyreek Hill going under is a really good play. So what would be great is if we could if there were value on Tua's under, that would be beautiful, right? Because we have positive correlation. Tyreek Hill is Tua's main target. So if we're taking Hill under, probably makes sense to take Tua's under, for passing TDs. So that's, one thing you can kind of look for. PrizePicks has fixed payouts. So I just kind of try to, when I can find it, try to see if there's any positive correlation that we can exploit, take advantage of, whatever. And you can filter out specific markets, anything you don't want to look at. But what we can do is just take a look. Let's find some plays. Let's shut up for a second and kind of complete this slip. So what do we want to fall in love with? So we can kind of look throughout the market. Sometimes there's better plays than others. There's some esports value out there, it looks like. Marvin Jones under in receiving yards. We can look at some of these esports plays, and I've explained this before, but a lot of people, I don't know anything about esports. That's even better, right? The problem is sportsbooks make the most money on the NFL, and that's because they watch their lines like a hawk, and most people watch the NFL, so they think they know how to bet the NFL. That's a common confusion. If you use Instagram, doesn't mean what you know, or Twitter, it doesn't mean you know what the price of the stock should be. They're completely different. Sports betting's about data. But what's great about esports is there's so many games, right? These guys have so many games, and lots of games means lots of opportunity. And we've been cashing like crazy on Underdog Fantasy, and a lot of my picks are esports picks, right? That's just where the value is. So those are a lot of the plays I'm going with, and I end up going with. Damn, I was going to hit the gym. Ended up betting on sports for the entire day. But anyways, let's refresh this. Let's see if there's any value. So we need 2 more picks on PrizePicks. Anyone find something they fall in love with, we can hit it. Another play I actually kind of liked, I hit this on Underdog Fantasy, but if we actually go back to this player touchdown one, is Josh Jacobs, no touchdown. And again, a lot of the value's on the under. And the reason is PrizePicks knows, right? Most people are going to take Tyreek Hill to go over. Most recreational bettors take overs. So, PrizePicks knows the under is the good side to be on. The reason they haven't removed this pick is most of their clueless customers are taking the over, who don't understand the math behind PrizePicks, all that sort of stuff. So one I do kind of like is Josh Jacobs, no touchdown. That's an option. Just throwing out options that you can go with. But I already have that play on Underdog Fantasy, so maybe let's try to be a little more unique. Let's try to find some new plays. Maybe esports. What we can do is if we want some esports plays, we can start out with esports. And we can just kind of take a look throughout the market. See, okay, what are the top plays available? It looks like ParlayPlay, they haven't dropped esports lines for tomorrow yet. And the big sweat I got tonight on ParlayPlay is Sanders under 336.5 passing yards. And if you weren't on the live stream earlier, PrizePicks was running a promo where they're bringing Sanders to 296.5 for their promo. Wait, I thought this game was over. Come on. Nebraska. So, Nebraska football. Let's hope he stays under. Damn, it's only the third quarter. So anyways, but long story short, I have Sanders over 296.5 here. PrizePicks is running a promo, so if you haven't already bet this, I think they're still running the promo on Sanders. Let's take a look. No, it looks like they already got rid of the promo. So anyways, sorry if you were going to bet it, but they reduced his line for a brief period to 296.5 for a promo. But what we can do is we can take a look at some of these esports plays, see if there's anything that we fall in love with. So for example, let's look at this Darko play. And again, what kind of sucks about esports is when you're betting on the NFL, I mean, you can look at this. Like, there are literally dozens and dozens of sports books, dozens of data points to make better bets off of. You have a lot of, points of comparison. All these sports books post NFL lines. What's a little, different about esports is you just don't have as many books posting lines. It looks like here for this, esports player prop, you only have 4 books. But, doesn't mean the same concepts of finding value in the market, finding an edge don't apply. The markets are just, you should be less confident in your esports bets because there's less books posting lines. But you take a look at Darko, PrizePicks has his line at 30.5. Underdog Fantasy is like, nah. Line should be higher. And again, all these sports books, so many people ask me, oh, can I create a better model than the sports books? No, you can't. PrizePicks, Underdog, DraftKings, FanDuel, Caesars, these are billion-dollar companies with way more money, way better data feeds, way more resources than you, dozens of full-time employees building their models full-time. You're not just going to outmodel DraftKings Sportsbook, right? Like, that's not how it works, right? And they have access to betting volume, which is really important. So what I mean by that is, like, these books aren't fucking stupid. They know what customers are up money on them. So for example, if all the smart customers who are up money on PrizePicks start betting Darko over 30.5 kills, PrizePicks is going to take the line up to 31.5, 32.5. Kind of back in check with the rest of the market. So these books have access to betting volume data, right? They have access to flow. So anyways, we can take a look at what other plays do we like. Do we want an esports play? We could try to find a college football pick. But what kind of sucks about college football is I know not everyone can bet college football. Depending on what state you're in, if your regulators are, little bitches, they may not let you bet on esports. On college football player props. A lot of states don't allow betting on college football player props, which is kind of stupid, but just kind of how it is. So we can take a look at some of these plays, see if there's anything we fall in love with. Again, this is the sportsbook screen. It just kind of like, lets you view the entire market. So like this play seems pretty solid. 4Z under 39, right? And if you take a look at the rest of the market, the other data points we have access to, Hot Streak has his line at 36.5. Underdog JockMKT 37.5. Seems like there's some good value on that play. Find an edge, hit the bet, rinse, repeat. So we can go back here to the positive EV tool as well. So the difference between the positive EV tool is the positive EV tool, it really is only showing you, it only shows you discrepancies in prices, right? So for example, the reason it's pointing out this bet on Tyler Boyd is PrizePicks. If you go through the math, I know it's a little confusing if you're new to PrizePicks, but if you go through the math behind PrizePicks, they have minus 119 odds on 5-pick flex plays. So it's just saying, hey, PrizePicks is minus 119. All these other books have this like minus 150. That's a really good play to go with. That's a play with value, right? So what's different about the fantasy optimizer is it also shows you line discrepancies, which is basically what we were looking at with this like play on 4Z, right? All these other books have his line a lot lower. So it's not that there's a difference in pricing. It's not like all the books have the line at 39 and they have different odds. Here, there's a discrepancy in where the books are even setting the line, in the first place. So let's take a look at Cortland Sutton, see if we fall in love. So you can get this play even better. ParlayPlay has Sutton at 50.5. So again, like 1 yard of value, it may not seem like a big deal, but I was already going to bet this under 49.5 on PrizePicks. It's also the benefit of having multiple sports books, right? Is I can bet this on ParlayPlay and get an additional yard of value. Extra value, it's only going to help you win more picks, win more plays long term. And again, another benefit of having these books is like, all these books are a little different. They all work in slightly different ways, right? Like FanDuel has odds, PrizePicks, there's no odds, whatever. Anyways, I'm ready to lock in this play. How much should we hit it for? How much do we like this? So like Sutton play is good, but again, like, if I can get better value on ParlayPlay, I'd rather play it on ParlayPlay. So whatever, let's hit this for 250. So I'm all over Tyreek Hill, no touchdown. But again, like a lot of people will be like, that's degenerate. It's not degenerate. It's investing. You know, I previously was a trader, worked on Wall Street, trading millions of dollars a day. Like once you understand the strategies that actually make money, you don't feel as worried about having a lot of money bet because you know you have the edge. You know you're going to win long term. You know sometimes you're going to have bad beats. Like last week we had some literally horrible beats with Diggs. I would have cashed out, you know, 400. So this would have won $10,000. I would have cashed out like $12,000 if Diggs didn't score a touchdown, but he did. But again, like the reason, you know, I'm not super emotional about it is like, you know, bad beats happen. Lucky wins happen. Some people look at my play on, you know, whatever, Brown and are like, oh, that was so close to being a touchdown. Sometimes things go your way. Other times they don't. That's just kind of how it is as a sports bettor. You can't luck your way into making money long term, though. So anyways, we got our first play down, an absolute beauty on PrizePicks. 3 NFL plays, 2 esports plays. So guys, we can stay up all night. We got a game at 1 a.m., 4 a.m., and then 3 NFL picks for tomorrow, including the early slate as well as Sunday Night Football. What's up, guys? Did I take the OU on Tua? I think I did. I think I took his under for the promo. Yeah, so baby Apex Legends, good point. It's a lot of one-way markets. Also in general, I do like leaning to bet the unders. So like, for example, Apex Legends in the chat is asking about Travis Kelce. So if you look at Travis Kelce, so we can go back to the sportsbook screen and just look at player touchdowns. So let's head over to player TDs. And if you look at Kelce, like I would assume most recreational bettors are taking his over, so the market may be a little overweighted towards his over. Whatever, you could make a point for that. But you can see most sports books, you do have some two-way markets. So like Hot Streak has Travis Kelce minus 190 to score a touchdown. In general, the market has Kelce as a pretty big favorite to score a TD. So another play, if you wanted something else to go with, that I do think is pretty good, is Travis Kelce touchdown. So if you want another bet, and who could possibly have a problem with taking another bet? So if you wanted to make a 6-pick flex, throw in Travis Kelce with this previous play we just hit. Any underdog, we'll do underdog. Why do you do 5 legs? In general, like, you know, 5 picks are basically the same as 6 picks in terms of the EV. So it doesn't really matter. By that, you know, it's kind of the same for Underdog Fantasy. Like Underdog Fantasy, 5-pick entries are just as good as 3-pick entries. Whoever asked that question, this is your answer. But I'm largely playing 3-pick entries because there's less variance. And what I mean by that is like you're going to win more consistently. Placing, you know, like let's say the EV were highest for like 20-leg parlays. I mean, you're going to win maybe like once a year. So it is kind of nice to, you know, on Underdog because they have 3-pick entries with pretty good payouts, 6x, whereas PrizePicks only 5x. So we only need to find 3 good picks to go with. But anyways, what should we hit next? So we can get rid of PrizePicks for a sec. And we can... So this plays on JockMKT as well. JockMKT has the exact same payout structure as PrizePicks for these 5-pick entries with insurance. So where do we want to look next? So we can take a look here. Again, wherever you're located, you may have you know, different sports books available to you. So, you know, but hopefully, you know, hopefully you use these ones, and also hopefully, you know, the concepts are helpful, just like how to find an edge. Like here's a really good bet on PointsBet. Some people ask me, why don't you have bets on PointsBet? I don't have access to it right now, right? So like depending on where you're located, you'll have different sports books. Tua interception, I mean, that's also positively correlated with Tyreek Hill, no touchdown. We are all over fading the Dolphins in terms of player props. But I guess that's just how it's going to be. So I already have Cortland Sutton's under 50.5 receiving yards. That was the play we were going to go with on PrizePicks. So you can see, long story short, like there's good bets on a lot of different sports books. You know, here's a good bet on Caesars. Kansas -7 first quarter spread. So what we can do is let's just go to ParlayPlay and let's focus on ParlayPlay. So you can filter, like, you know, I always recommend having more sports books. It's always better. But if you don't use every sports book, you can just like filter them out. So then we have Sky Moore, who I faded last week, and we're fading him again. Travis Kelce's back too. Hard not to want to fade Sky Moore, especially after his performance last week. But again, like I say that, but that's mainly a joke. And what I mean by that is like everything's baked into the market, right? Like so many people, if Patrick Mahomes throws 5 passing touchdowns in 1 week, they're terrified to take his under the next week. It's like players were gonna run hot some weeks, right? It's reflected in the market, right? Like everything is reflected in the market. You know, if Travis Kelce wasn't healthy, you know, that would be reflected in the odds. Books move their lines around. Like you can see here, if you pull up a line movement chart, once it loads, like books move around lines, right? Due to where action is coming in, as well as lineup changes. Like that's their full-time job of a sports book, is knowing how to move your lines and keep them at unprofitable levels. So Mac Jones interception and then Slayton over 2.5 receptions. And then we got a play already, right? So what we can do is we want just straight up going down the EV tool. And again, if you use Bovada, there's some bets. If you use Lovig, there's some bets. If you use Circa, there's some bets. Again, it just kind of depends where you're located, what books you're using. But you'll see me, like whenever I'm traveling, you know, I'll hit bets on a bunch of different sports books, and people will be like, did you stop using PrizePicks? And it's like, no, I'm just, you know, don't have access to it right now. So Mac Jones, you know, similar, you know, all the books have us over heavily favored. ParlayPlay is another platform, you know, where they're not changing your payout based on you selecting over versus under. Like you'll see your payout stays the same. So obviously we want to take his over in interceptions. So if Mac Jones throws an interception, I guess these plays are actually positively correlated. If the Dolphins throw an interception, if Tua throws an interception, the Patriots will have the ball longer, which means Mac Jones is technically more likely to actually throw an interception, which is a little counterintuitive, but that logic makes sense to me. So when you're taking picks from the same game, just definitely want to consider, like, you know, the correlation. So next we want Slayton over 2.5 receptions. So do we have anything from this game already? And it doesn't look like we do. The most boring game possibly of tomorrow. Arizona Cardinals versus the New York Giants. And seriously, I just lost that. That's extremely annoying. But anyways, I'm going to have to go back and rebuild it quickly. So we want Slayton over, right? We want Mac Jones over, Tua over. So let's just fly through this. I'm going to try to stop talking and just place these bets a little quicker. So we got that. And then again, if you're just tuning in, going through a bunch of PrizePick slips, some ParlayPlay slips, bunch of different platforms. Here's what I just locked in on PrizePicks. $250 to win 2.5K, all over Tyreek Hill's under. So what we can do is we have Mac Jones now. We want Sky Moore under 30.5. Sky Moore under 30.5 receiving yards. Again, ParlayPlay has this weird little, every day you can like bump a player's line. Only for certain players, but like it gives you a little extra value. It's just like a daily promo that they run. So that's something you could do, you know, if you wanted to. Brandon Ayuk, I already bet, so I'm not going to be able to bet it again. I'm already on Cortland Sutton under 50.5 receiving yards, so I'm not going to take it. Like, I can't take him in the same slip to go over 3.5 receptions. And then the best play on the board is Mixon under 3.5 receptions, right? So again, OddsJam is just scanning the market, pointing out, hey, you know, ParlayPlay is this platform where they don't change your payout based on you selecting over versus under. It's just telling you, hey, go with the under, because literally every sports book has the under heavily favored, right? PointsBet minus 160, FanDuel minus 158. You can pull up line movement charts, whatever, but it's pretty clear this is a ridiculously good play, and we can go ahead and we can lock it in. So ParlayPlay has a max bet size of $60, which is, a little annoying about the platform, but it's just kind of how it goes. Anyways, let me read these questions, see if anyone has questions. You gonna look at Jock Market? We're looking at Jock Market. Doing good, man. Any CSGO? We already hit that. What are the picks? Bro, we just hit the picks. What's the drink for tonight's stream? Currently water. Kelsey under 7 receptions. Dennis Bornga under half of a goal. Rushing yards. So at Vinny Blanco, yeah, I think I took his under on ParlayPlay. So I took his under. I think you have to do the max Lionel Messi. Anyways, Apex Legend. I do like Kelsey to score a touchdown. I think that looks good on PrizePicks. Anyways, go to PrizePicks. Okay, we'll go to PrizePicks. If anyone has questions too, you can email me anytime. But maybe we'll do another ParlayPlay slip. Again, ParlayPlay, I got a ton of open bets. A lot of open bets. And this platform is weird because they only have a max bet size of $60, which is obviously a downside. They cap you at $60, so even as you grow your bankroll, your stake is going to be limited to $60, which is pretty low for a sportsbook if you think about it. But I'm up 3.5K on this platform since I signed up. My ROI is like 20% though, because again, they just have a very low max bet size. So it really is, you got to get down the volume. You can only bet $6 per player. So it's very easy to exploit them and make money. It's just, you got to get down the bets, right? We have Khalil Herbert over 45.5 rushing yards. All the books have the over heavily favored. Strategy doesn't really change, right? We already have Tua. This I already bet. So like the hard part is all these plays are good, but I've already bet most of this crap, right? Did I already bet on Riley Patterson? So I didn't take that play, but we'll take it. And we can take him under 7.5 total points, kicking points. And what else do we want to take? So just kind of going down the list. Sky Moore, we already hit that. Chris Boswell over 5.5. Maybe we can find some positive correlation if we're lucky. So any of these players in the same game, and we got to consider the correlation. Not so far, so that's fine with us. And what else do we like? Just kind of follow the data. Chris Boswell, all the books have his over heavily favored. ParlayPlay doesn't change your payout based on you selecting over versus under. So that's a good play to go with. So Gibbs under 3.5 receptions. So now we have 2 players from the same team. So this, I think, makes sense, right? These seem positively correlated. If Gibbs isn't getting a lot of receptions, then Riley Patterson probably isn't kicking as many field goals because the Lions aren't getting into field goal range, right? These plays seem positively correlated. Riley Patterson under 7.5 kicking points and Gibbs under 3.5 receptions. We got Chad Ryland. There's just unlimited bets on ParlayPlay. I swear I could find profitable bets. The thing is they have really good payouts, right? They have better payouts than PrizePicks. So do we have anything in the Dolphins game? No, we don't. So we're good to go here. And I know I've explained this in other videos, but for anyone new, and then we have Pitts under 3.5 receptions. So we are just rolling on ParlayPlay. But again, what's kind of cool about ParlayPlay is, right, like this is their payouts, right? PrizePicks, again, for a flex play. So if we go to this 6-pick entry that I have with Tyreek Hill, we look at the PrizePicks payout structure. If you go 5 for 6 in a 6-pick flex play or a 6-pick insured entry, you only get a 2x payout on PrizePicks, as it says right here. Whereas on ParlayPlay, you get a 2.5x payout. So like long story short, ParlayPlay has a bit better payouts than PrizePicks, which makes them more exploitable, easier to make money. So I've already hit my max on Herbert, so I'm going to have to find a new pick there. So we'll get rid of that. And again, I try to move quickly. Like I explained this before, the best bets, they're not going to last forever. So the higher the profit margin of a bet, the higher the likelihood that it's going to move relatively quickly. So, I just recommend trying to move quickly, get these plays down. Oh my God, Jason Myers under 1.5 field goals made. Well, this I don't love, because we already have those players in the Lions game, so I don't really want to take the Seahawks player under 1.5 field goals. But God, there are just a lot of bets. There are a lot of bets, a lot of value on ParlayPlay. In general, so it's a good book to have. It's not the most popular, sports book out there in the world, but this play seems good. Durham Smith over 19.5 receiving yards. All the other sports books, you can see it right here. I was line at like 24.5. So how does this look? And again, I just try to consider correlation. Like, okay, do we have any other picks in the Miami game? So this doesn't really make sense, right? I don't want to take Ryland over in kicking points and then a Dolphins player over in receiving yards, because if the Patriots have possession more often, he's more likely to go over in points, but that means, Durham Smith is more likely to go under. So we should only pick one of them. So maybe we go with the Dolphins play. I mean, you can pick whichever you want. Again, there's no, magic going on here. Sanders I already have as under. It looks like Tyreek Hill under 86.5 receiving yards. I've already bet enough Tyreek Hill, I think, for the time being. Maybe we've already bet enough Tyreek Hill. Levante David over 7. All the books have his line at 7.5 with the over as the favorite outcome. Xavier Weaver. So this play seems good. And again, one thing you can do on a lot of these plays, and this is a college football pick. So under 88.5. Damn, this game starts soon. Nope. So I want to do that, and then I want to lock this in. But what I was going to... Fuck. So they already moved that. So now I can go back to the kicking points. Lyland. No, what's his name? What is Patriots boy's name? So let's go back here. So that's an example of lines moving quickly. Ryland. Chad Ryland. I apologize for not knowing the kicker's name. But we want to take his over. Again, all the books. Lower EV play, but again, we need to find 6 good picks on ParlayPlay. So it's just kind of like, okay, whatever. And we want to take his over 5.5. And then we have a banger. So that seems pretty good. On ParlayPlay. And I'll see if there's any questions. What's up, guys? Win Underdog. We'll go to Underdog in a second. Go to PrizePicks. Anyone use Hot Streak ever? Yeah, I think Hot Streak is solid. When should I up my unit sizes on bets? Maybe when your bankroll 1.5x's. Like, you don't have to update your unit size every day, but I would say, if you grow your bankroll from 1,000 to 1.5K, it probably makes sense to start betting a little bit more. Yeah, Lionel Messi, then I guess you don't have to bet. I guess you can just bet $1 on it. That makes sense. Win Underdog. Let's go to Underdog. Everyone's ready for Underdog. Should we do an Underdog play? I think we'll probably do an Underdog play. Also, a lot of arbitrage bets. Arbitrage, how I started out sports betting. Great strategy. But maybe we go to Underdog Fantasy. Everyone always wants the book we've been hot on, and we've been hot on the Underdog. So let's go back to Underdog Fantasy. And again, there are some plays I like. Underdog Fantasy is pretty annoying because they only allow me to have a max bet size. So I already bet Jamar Chase under, as you can see right here. I have him under. I have Bijan under. I have an all under slip. It's beautiful. So 5-pick insured entry. But I only bet $100 on this, and a lot of people ask me, oh, why did you bet, on PrizePicks? Why did you bet $400 here? Most of these Underdog limited me recently to $100 max bet sizes, so I would bet more on some of these plays, but I can't. So I like Jamar Chase's under. I like Joshua Kelly's under. What other ones were good? I like St. Brown's under a lot on Underdog Fantasy. I like Bijan's under. I'm pretty sure the entire slip is still available. And I like Diggs under. Literally the entire slip is available. I don't like Barkley under. I don't like Pollard under. And I like Tyreek Hill under. But I've already bet all these, so I'm not going to be able to bet it more. This is the exact slip I went with. And it is incredibly good, right? Underdog Fantasy. You take all unders, you get a 20x payout on a 5-pick entry. You take all overs, you still get a 20x payout, right? But this is the worst slip of all time. So you get the same payout if you take overs or unders. But again, like, just look at what is the market saying? Like, what is the data saying, right? Like, what's the data saying for Bijan Robinson? Every sportsbook has his under very heavily favored, right? Like minus 180s, minus 205, or they have one-way markets, right? So like all these books have Bijan favored to go under because they're only showing you the over, but the over is an underdog, plus 135 on Caesars. So there's some good value on Underdog, but we can see if we can find some new picks. So let's go back to Underdog Fantasy. And again, the more books you have, the better. Like I've explained this before, but Sleeper. So we can actually just check out Sleeper. They're running this promo on Tyreek Hill. Like the only thing I really bet on Sleeper is the promos because in general, like you'll notice, is I just don't find a lot of good bets on Sleeper. Like in these videos, I'm just showing you for where I'm currently located, where am I putting my money down? I'm always going to be gambling. On Sleeper, they have so much VIG in their markets, it's really hard to find value, but I still recommend getting it because they have a lot of promos. And my refer a friend code is Alex. If you sign up, they have a $100 deposit match. You put in $100, you get $100 for free, and they have a lot of good promos, which is a benefit of having Sleeper. But anyways, let's go back to Underdog, and we can take a look at, see if there's anything we fall in love with. What are we going to fall in love with today? I mean, a lot of these plays were available on other sports books, but we could double down. So, like, these plays make sense together. Did I already bet on Tyler Boyd on Underdog? I'm trying to remember now. I did not. Cole Raggins just cashed. Absolute banger. Yay, we got another sweat on Tyreek Hill. But anyways, I like all those unders that I explained earlier, but this play I kind of like as well, right? Like, positive correlation. If the Bengals have less possessions, Burrow is less likely to get rushing yards, and Tyler Boyd is less likely to get receptions. So both of these plays come up on the fantasy optimizer and seem pretty solid. Cortland Sutton, under 49.5 receiving yards. I mean, we could bet it. The downside of betting it is we already have him under 50.5 on Underdog, on ParlayPlay. So it's kind of like, okay, like, do we really want to double down on a player we already bet? So we could, not saying we couldn't, because we could. But what we can do is let's just go here. We can take a look at esports plays too. Maybe there's some esports plays. Sometimes there's some good esports value. Late at night. Blue-white under 33.5. So we can take a look. Like, if we take a look at CSGO, I'll bet on anything. If we can find an edge. And again, Underdog Fantasy, what's nice about it is they have 6x payouts for these 3-pick entries, whereas PrizePicks for these 3-pick entries only has a 5x payout. So like here, it's like, okay, like literally you have 1, 2, 3 other sports books setting the line at 31 or 31.5. Hot Streak, right? They have the line at 31.5, and they have the under as the favored or the juiced outcome. So their model is saying, hey, we think the under is the more likely outcome, right? Barely. They only have a little bit more juice towards the under, but like that's what it means, right? They have the under as the favored outcome. So their model is saying the under is more likely to occur. So this play seems decent on Underdog. Man, these esports guys, they all got the weirdest names in the world. But 3 pick on Underdog. Burrow under 11.5. Boyd, positive correlation here. And then this is just a good esports play. What happened to League of Legends? I feel like I haven't hit a League of Legends bet in a minute. What happened to League of Legends? Do they have seasons? How are we looking? We have so much money bet on these live streams. It's absolutely insane. And again, I'm not positive. A lot of these lines move. You know, like PrizePicks still has up this line on Tyreek Hill. They removed the best play available that I've seen this weekend was Devontae Adams, but they moved that line. They still have uphill. And my gut tells me Hill had a good first game. All the squares are betting his over. So, like, they're fine with keeping it posted. But anyways, here's the Underdog Fantasy play if you want to tail. Any PrizePicks plays? Bro, we just hit a PrizePicks play. I'm ready for Underdog. Debo receiving yards. What's up, guys? What's up, guys? The website I'm researching on is OddsJam. They don't play that shit no more. I think the regular season. I would have to ask my girl. Your girl watches League of Legends. Where did you meet that girl? But anyways, let's go back here. So again, like, I like to show FanDuel and stuff too, and other sports books, not necessarily because, you know, again, I don't have access to all these books, but damn. James Conner over 2.5 receptions. We may have to hit another parlay play slip just because they have so much freaking value on the board. But again, like, as a sports bettor, where did it go? James Conner over 2.5 receptions. Where is James Conner? Oh, not Jones. I want James. James Conner over 2.5 receptions. Nope. This is what I want. Okay, and then we can go back to the fantasy optimizer for parlay play. There is a lot of easy money to make on parlay play. It is absolutely great. So we can go to Jason Myers under 1.5 field goals made. Again, it's very simple. All the sports books have his under heavily favored. So that's the sharp pick to go with. All OddsJam is doing is making it easy, right? Like, it's really hard because all these lines can move. Like, you'll notice the best bets right after we bet them are going to move and they're going to disappear forever, right? Unlike this Tyreek Hill play, because all the squares are betting the over, and they get a lot of retail action betting overs for touchdown scores, it's very rare to see someone betting under to score a touchdown, right? So it's not surprising that PrizePicks has this lineup on Tyreek Hill. But, like, OddsJam is just pulling in the millions of odds, right? And whether you use FanDuel or DraftKings or Caesars, all of them are on the positive EV tool. It's just showing you, hey, here are the spots where they're screwing up. Right? It's taking the time component out of sports betting. And again, the best betting opportunities aren't going to last forever anyways, so you're going to have to move quickly. So I'm thinking. So we could take Johnson under 5.5. Does this make sense? These are positively correlated. Right? So if the Seahawks have the ball less, then he is more likely to not score field goals or hit field goals, and he is more likely to not get tackles and assists. So that's actually positively correlated. Ernest Jones, my boy, 8.5 tackles and assists. A lot of tackles and assist plays this year. I've been seeing a lot of books drop them. A lot of books didn't have tackles plus assist plays last year, but this year we're already feasting on them. I have a lot of a lot more. This play I already bet, but like you're seeing, like, it's a lot of these more niche markets where value is showing up in the NFL, tackles plus assists, right? Like, so, I mean, I'm down to have a sweat wherever we can have a sweat. So we can hit that. I have no problem with that. And then we can go to Cortland Sutton over 3.5 receptions. Cardinals, Seahawks game. I'm just making sure there's no negative correlation here. Nope. And I want him over 3.5. So just following the data, like I literally view it as like forming my own portfolio of profitable bets. I already bet Sutton, so I'm not going to be able to rebet that. Again, what kind of sucks is just the liquidity, right? How many bets you're actually able to place. So this looks like Trevor Lawrence. I think I said that in the last video, and I still thought that was Trevor Lawrence. But this play I don't want to include. Also, that would be negatively correlated, but whatever. Let's go to Harrison Butker. Under 1.5 field goals. There's just a lot of value in general. So do I have any Jacksonville players? Let's just search Jacks. Nope. So this is perfect. 6-pick entry. And again, it's not the hottest thing in the world, parlay play, but that's just kind of what it is. If that's where the value is, that's where we'll be betting. What up, guys? What up, guys? What up, guys? Matt Herron, Calc 3. I think freshman Calc 3 is the average demographic for League of Legends games. How many active bets do you have live? I think for the NFL tomorrow, if everything were to win, I'd win over 120K. But I'd have to check. But across sportsbooks, I mean, like, it's just, it adds up quickly, right? Of course, not everything's going to hit, but we have some beauties. We have 20K on Tyreek Hill alone between 3 slips. Here's another one. So I know a lot of people tailed me on this fight. I had this fight in a few different plays. I mean, this should be starting soon. So hopefully it wins. No idea when the fight, if it's actually started, but if it did, good luck to anyone who tailed. So you can see there's more bets on parlay play. Just kind of depends how many slips you want to lock in. I mean, what we can try to do too is just like try to find some positive correlation on these plays, which we can do in a sec, but before, Sky Moore receptions plays getting even better. So now you can see this is arbitrage with Bovada. So whenever arbitrage occurs, arbitrage means the sports books are so out of sync that you can bet equal and opposite outcomes on 2 sports books to make a risk-free profit. So that sounds like a lot of big words, but like when these books get super out of sync, like it's pretty simple. You can bet the over and the under on 2 sports books. So we already bet Jason Myers. There is just value all over parlay play. Go the distance. This play looks incredible on Caesars. I would bet this. Anyways, Sky Moore, right? Like when the book gets super out of sync, you can bet the over and the under and make a risk-free profit. So here, for example, like Bovada has the over 2.5 for Sky Moore at -110. Fliff is at -165. Like there's a huge discrepancy in where these books are setting the line. So arbitrage betting, this is actually how I started out sports betting. It's a risk-free betting strategy. You bet the over, you bet the under, you make a risk-free profit. You just need multiple sports books. So you could bet, in this case, 250 on Fliff, and you can round your number slightly, like whatever. If we change this to 245, so like 245, 275, you'll make a risk-free $6. And again, arbitrage betting, you got to know how to navigate the books quickly. These are inefficiencies in the market. But long story short, when arbitrage exists, by definition, one of these bets has to be profitable. If you can bet on Sky Moore to go under and him to go over on a different sports book and guarantee yourself a risk-free profit due to how out of sync the books are, one of these plays has to be a good bet. right? If you can bet both and make a risk-free profit, then one of the bets has to be profitable, either the over at minus 110 or the under at plus 115, because you can bet both and make a risk-free profit. And again, like, all whatever. I've gone through this example. Arbitrage is very near and dear to my heart because it's how I started out sports betting. But over 2.5 is minus 110 on Bovada, right? And then the under 2.5, we can just fly through the math quickly, is plus 115 on Fliff. So we want 245 and 275. So when I was arbitrage betting, I would typically just round the calculator to the nearest round number. So like 275 makes sense. And if you follow the calculator exactly, so we want to bet 245 on Fliff, it tells you bet 275.92 on Bovada. If you follow the calculator exactly, you make the same profit regardless of if Sky Moore goes over or under. You make the same profit regardless. If you round it down to 275, then you're just going to notice your profit's slightly different depending on what happens. So, right, then there's two outcomes. He's either going over or he's going under. 2.5, Sky Moore. This is arbitrage betting. And this is why one of the bets, by definition, has to be profitable. Either the over 2.5 at minus 110 is profitable, or the under 2. Like, one of these bets has to be a play because you can bet both and make a risk-free profit. So if he goes over, we lose $245 on Fliff. We bet his under, just following the calculator, right? We bet his under for 245. We bet his over for 275. So we lose 245 on Fliff, which sucks. But on Bovada, we made 275 times 100 over 110, $250, right? We bet $275 at minus 110. Minus 110 means betting 11 to win 10. So you make $250 profit. So our net profit's $5. If he goes under, we lose 275 on Bovada. The over loses, but we make 245 times 1.15, we make 282 on Fliff for a net profit of $7. We make money no matter what. So we know one of these bets has to be good. That's arbitrage betting, right? The only thing you have to do is not be lazy and move fast because nobody knows when the best arbitrage bets are going to occur. You also need to have multiple sports books. There's been a shit ton on Fliff recently, a ton of risk-free money you can make on Fliff. But anyways, where should we go next? PrizePicks, Underdog, what should we do? Or maybe we'll call it a day for now. Maybe I'll be back on live later. But hopefully this was helpful. Any questions, as always, feel free to reach out. Hit me up, hit me up, hit me up. Let's make some freaking money. Tomorrow, guys, I'll be live.